Hello everyone and welcome to a weird idea I've had. I'm gonna make something in Minecraft and it's completely random what I'm doing. So at first let's figure out if I need to do some redstone or some building and what type of redstone or building. It's a building. That's fairly normal and uninteresting, but we're not done yet. After all, there's gonna be a style to any building. So what kind of building are we going with? A modern building, okay. Why don't we add a bit of a challenge to it? These are some blocks that are really not easy to build with, so let's see what I get to use in a modern house. Or a modern building. It doesn't have to be a house. Some stone ores. Okay. Stone ore in a modern house. That seems possible if I just make it a grey house. So let's see if I get to make a grey house, because I am going to choose a color randomly as well. It's pink. It's pink. Okay. So to recap, we're making a modern building that is pink and uses stone ore blocks. Let's see how that's going. So these are the stone ores. I need to use at least one of them, and I can't just put one block somewhere. It's gotta be part of the build, which is hard. Here is our pink blocks. First row we have the actual pink blocks. Second row we have magenta with, I think it kinda counts as pink. Like, it's not that different. I know I'm not like an artist person. Pink and magenta are not that different. Okay? And then at the top there we have 5 blocks that maybe should count, but I'm not entirely sure on them. So we're gonna figure that out. And then over here we have some blocks that I would associate with a modern building, which is mostly whites, grays, and blacks. But I do also occasionally see some like dark oak wood and copper. Seems like it should be in a modern building. I'm not sure. So these are the blocks that I would have to somehow figure out what to build with. So let's try something, huh? If I'm gonna go with white and pink, it's gonna be very fairy castle-y somehow. So maybe if I go black and pink. That's kind of cool. Or gray? Black, gray, pink? I think we're going black, gray, and pink. And potentially quartz because it's kind of a warmer white. I do think some dark brown can work actually quite well like that. I may have tried to ignore these. I think coal would probably be the most obvious one because it's black and gray. Like, it could fit in there like that. But I also wonder if maybe iron ore would work. Alright, I've done some thinking and very basic Googling. And here's what I found. For types of modern buildings, of course, there's big villas. There are those like tiny houses where it's like as much stuff in as little space as possible. Many like modern buildings are office buildings, so that's an opportunity. There are theaters or concert halls, like think of like the Sydney Opera House. Sports stadiums, those are modern and pretty easy to build. You make a circle and put a square in it. It's kind of common to have somewhat of a flat roof. if you have a roof at all, because many of the shapes are very abstract and weird. And of course, there is like the many rectangles stacked in one, but there's also like wild curves and I don't know what. It's kind of crazy. So all of that is interesting, but ultimately I still have to make a choice. Either the concert hall or the shopping mall both seem like areas where you could use some pink. So I think I'm going with either a shopping mall or a concert hall. And I think I'll just make a building and then figure out what fits in it. So let's get to building whatever this modern building that uses pink and some kind of stone ore is going to be. Alright, so I've been building for about 2 hours now. I never claimed to be a fast builder. And this is how far we are. I just started building random stuff, but I wasn't sure where exactly I was going. So I decided to make a bit of a mock-up. The deal is, the thing on top here, it looks like a tongue, but it's supposed to be like a flower petal with a pearl thing in the middle. That's kind of like the statement piece. And then below that we have, I might scrap this part, we have several like little cubes. They kind of topple over. And once I had this idea of like cubes toppling over next to each other, I had this idea of why not make it a casino? Because that makes sense, doesn't it? So all of these cubes could be dice. And then the thing on top is just the logo or something. We can call it like, I don't know, the flower pearl, the Pearly Blossom Casino, something like that. So after this little concept build was done, I started actually making it big. And figuring out where all of the dice would go and their size took a lot longer than it probably should have. I really think my perfectionism kind of got a hold of me here and I should not have let it. Then I added the eyes of the dice, which I wasn't sure what to put in them at first. I want them to glow, but just white probably wasn't quite it. So I decided to use a trick where you can put light sources behind shulker boxes, and the shulker boxes actually glow still. On the back side of the build, I at first tried to put some more dice, but then kind of decided, you know what, there's cards in gambling, and when you have cards, you usually have 4 suits of cards, right? So I just built those 4 suits of cards, and that's the backside of the building done. And then up on top, I still had my weird flower petal thingy bob, and I needed some way to make it make sense. So I decided I wanted to have some kind of round thing that the thingy-mabob can sit on. And I thought, you know what, roulette is a thing, and since this is still a casino, we might as well go with something that's kind of inspired by roulette. And do note that both the 0 of the roulette, which is like the green, is emerald ore, and the things that actually hold the roulette thing up, those are iron ore. So that's where I got my challenge in, using stone ores. With that, the basic outside was kinda done, and I started working on the inside. First, of course, we needed a bit of an entrance that was visible enough that it would kind of lure people in, because that's what casinos do. And at this point, I would also like to note, if you ever find yourself in an establishment like this one, leave. Like, don't gamble. I'm actually really happy with this design for claw machines. That's kind of my favorite, which is why I plastered it all around everywhere. But we also have a lot of like little computer things that just are great for spending your money on if you don't want it. I also made this little design for an ATM type deal where people can get their money so they can give it to the casino. And just some poker tables. Now, the thought behind the layout here is that, first off, the inside is bright, and if you look towards the entrance, it's dark and you barely even see the entrance. That way, people will stay in the casino and pay more money and not leave. Also, you know, they can easily get their hands on some new money from the ATMs and spend it everywhere. And it's kind of conceptualized in a way where the claw machines are there to, like, pull people into the casino, and then they can either waste their life away at those computer things where they can play, I don't know what the games are, or they can go to the high rollers like poker tables and lose even more money. And it's great for the casino. So every last little block of this casino is essentially used to put more machines in where people can spend more money. I'm really proud of this massive claw machine. That's kind of just a variation of the normal claw machines, but it's bigger and it's cool. And then all the other things on the top floor are really just poker tables and poker tables. I guess this is like where the richer people come to. It's kind of a little more like cool of an area. I don't know how casinos work. I'm really happy with how the build ended up, and the inside is pretty well used, I think. And then I really just needed to add some more stuff on the outside. So I made a stair to make the entrance look a little bigger and cooler. And then I added some garden-y areas with some trees. Because why not? And there we are. The first of hopefully many random Minecraft thingies I ended up doing. I'm pretty happy with it, even though it's definitely not what I would have made if I had thought for myself what I wanted. But it really worked out quite well, I think. So, I will see you next time. Bye bye.